After the end of apartheid in South Africa, Nelson Mandela's African National Congress was hailed by the world as the leader in the creation of a new socially just progressive rainbow nation, a place where all races would coexist peacefully under a prosperous and fair communist system. But in recent years, we haven't heard much of this idyllic, progressive Garden of Eden at all. In fact, the international press doesn't speak of South Africa's political situation very much at all. And when they do, the stories stand in stark contrast to the idea of a rainbow nation. My conversation with farmers and many of the country's white minority made South Africa seem like a nation on the verge of total collapse. So I decided I would try to at least have a conversation with a representative of the ANC in an attempt to understand what they believe is going on. Thabo Mokoena is a man that I've been advised is a powerful force within the ANC. Mokoena is a member of the party's provincial executive committee, has been responsible for the running of South Africa's municipalities, and has been granted multi-million rand contracts by the government in Johannesburg. Here were his thoughts on the current state of the nation.
In the past 20 years, we've done very well to try and, build that vision of a rainbow nation, build the economy of our country, compete internationally on businesses, on sports, on culture. There's relative safety in the country. We've got the best infrastructure in the world in terms of our transport systems and even policing and safety and that kind of a thing.
In a country with one of the highest crime rates, a failing police force, and some of the worst transport systems in the world, these claims struck me as simply untrue. I was getting the sense that Thabo was giving me a government-sanctioned version of the truth. But nevertheless, I pressed on. Particularly, I wanted to know about what everyone keeps calling the land issue. That being the expropriation or redistribution of land from white farmers to the black population, something all of the country's major parties have promised to do. To an outsider, this sounds just a little unfair and like something that would stand in direct contrast to the Rainbow Nation mantra. So I asked Thabo to explain it to me.
So there's been very slow progress in terms of addressing the land or redistributing the land. So we must speed up. And it's not the question that government does not have money for compensation or there is no money for compensation in the system. I think it's just part of the problem is that the bureaucracy is way too slow and then it undermines the good objective. So you need to have cutthroat departments that understand the agency and the plight of the people. When they are required to do their work, they must do it.
Are things leaning more towards with or without compensation? I don't know, I'm just curious. Yeah.
Look, the decision that has been taken, it's without compensation.
As strange and radical as the notion of the government simply taking one person's land and giving it to another because of their skin color may sound to the outside world, Thabo's politics actually quite accurately reflect the rest of South Africa's ruling party. Land expropriation without compensation could be carried out at any time, a threat which has only deepened racial divisions here. Many of these farmers are now the 8th or 9th generations of their family to be farming this land, and they have told me they believe this land is worth dying for, which is why I was curious as to what the government planned on doing if white farmers simply refused to give up their land.
There's nothing that government can do that is illegal to the farmers. Neither there is nothing that the farmers can refuse, which is law. So they don't have much options. It is not the intention of the ANC to go and grab the land illegally and that type of thing. No. We will do it within the prescripts of the laws of this particular country. And then if it means that the laws of this country are not adequate to address that, the first thing to do is to introduce the new laws that allows us to be able to. But once it's law, no farmer, no person that can come and say that I am going to disobey this law. No, do it at your own peril.
So it may be illegal to take the land by force using violence right now, but Thabo seemed to be saying that if whites don't give it up willingly, or if they resist, we'll just change the law to allow us to take it violently. This answer took me by surprise, considering the ANC has done a pretty good job of keeping up appearances. But it seems their politics have strayed further from the Rainbow Nation mantra over the years, as their rhetoric more closely mirrors extremist groups like Black First, Land First, who proudly tout the line, land or death, by which they're referring to the death of white farmers.
Black people have been patient enough. We are of the view that we have to fight in order to attain freedom as the black majority in this country. And the fight has to be located in taking back the land and expropriating back into the people, in seizing the means of production and expropriating everything, or rather redistributing everything equally. And a society that would embody a value system that puts black people first will have to be attained through confrontation, unfortunately, because our people have waited for so long, right? We've waited for so long and nothing is happening in terms of changing our lived experience. So it's very important to have a movement such as BLF who's going to say, we don't want your handovers. We don't want you to feel pity for us. We are coming for you and we are going to get everything that you own. It's ours.
Talking to South Africa's black political class, it's quite clear that the image of the Rainbow Nation we have been sold doesn't quite live up to its promise. In fact, many of the predictions about expropriation of land and civil unrest I heard from rural white farmers are actually echoes of promises spilling from the mouths of the politicians themselves.
The question of war in this country is inevitable. It's definitely coming. We are going to fight.
There's only one logical conclusion here. If things continue the way the ruling government, the activists, and the media are pushing them, and without a major change in the political establishment or serious intervention from Western media and charity, South Africa could very well be looking at a bloody future that will only culminate in almost unimaginable problems for the country. Thank you so much for watching this video. I just wanted to let you know that this is actually just a short clip from a much larger documentary project I'm working on called Farmlands. Now, there are a million ways you can help with this project and spread the word about the situation going on in South Africa. If you want to know how you can do that, go down to the links below or visit farmlands.online. I'll see you next time.